controversial guy. And of course, he's a legendary actor in most movies like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Dirty Harry, and Gran Torino. But as a director, with a lot of people, he's been decidedly mixed. But while he did make disappointments like Hereafter, Changeling, and J. Edgar, and the fact that American Sniper was a huge misfire, every now and then he starts making really excellent movies that occasionally win Oscars. Things like $1 Million Baby, Unforgiven, Perfect World, and Letters to Iwo Jima. And while he has made mediocre movies, he has made really excellent movies as well, and Sully is one of those examples of a really excellent Clint Eastwood movie. And it's not only because I want to see Tom Hanks and Aaron Eckhart on a Clint Eastwood movie. I was actually really looking forward to this thing, and I do like biopics, and I feel like Sully is one of those great examples of a good biopic. What is the plot of this movie, you ask? Well, basically in the entire movie is mostly about the aftermath of the Hudson River miracle, or the miracle on the Hudson, where a national US airline got struck by birds, which leads to both engines collapsing, but a man by the name of Captain Sullenberg, or Sully, has miraculously landed the plane on the Hudson River, saving 155 people on board, or everybody. And like days before the Hudson River collapse, Sully, played by the one and only Tom Hanks, and First Officer Jeffrey Skiles, played by Mr. Frankenstein himself, Aaron Eckhart, are trying to deal with the excessive news and media that is basically anointing them as heroes in the process, and the NTSB, throughout all the simulations and computer work that they investigated, they probably think that Sully was maybe thinking rationally. Maybe what he did wasn't a good idea. Maybe landing in the airport would have been a smart idea. The acting in this movie, fantastic. The bright spot of this movie is Tom Hanks as Sully. He's one of these characters that are just subtle throughout the entire situation. Not just like over the top and expressive. Throughout his performance, he's subtle and he's calm. And it's really great of the film to not extend the runtime of this movie basically just to give Sully a bunch of backstory. Backstory we don't even need to see. And last time they did it with American Sniper, and look how that happened. And another character I really liked in this movie is Mr. Frankenstein. I'm sorry, Aaron Eckhart. You know, Aaron Eckhart, I really like this guy in a bunch of movies he's in. But this is actually one of his best performances I've seen out of him. He's not like that kind of cartoonish guy that's like, hey man, we're friends, how you doing? Or he doesn't spout out exposition like, hey man, remember when we were friends back in kindergarten? And his performance in this is genuinely excellent. Now throughout this movie, this film is heavily relied on flashbacks. Flashbacks that actually drive the story forward. Some of the flashbacks are actually really cool. Like throughout the movie, during the Hudson River collapse, you have all these minor sub-characters who are basically like humans during the collapse of the Hudson. Basically, you have these people as sub-minor characters in the movie who are just like people. They're really humanized. They feel normal and not over the top. And the movie shows us really good, excellent points of views from both the people and Sully's view on the miracle of the Hudson. Cinematography is really good, and one of the greatest shots in the movie, when you see that plane crash, it's a thing of beauty. And the pacing as well is really fluid, because mostly when Clint Eastwood makes movies, sometimes the pacing is off. But like for most of the movie, it's a get in, get out kind of movie, with a lot of memorable stuff in there along with really good acting. Is this movie perfect? Almost. Basically, I'm kind of half and half with the characters in the NTSB. For like one half, I saw them as people actually legitimately doing their jobs, and then on the other half, I actually seen them as just anti-government villains. You know, the kind of villains that Clint Eastwood always has to shoehorn in his movie for dramatic effect. Sometimes it kind of works, and sometimes kind of doesn't. It's like half and half on the scale. Sully is a really excellent movie, with a great story, fantastic acting, really cool cinematography, along with fuel pacing, although I was kind of half and half on a few characters. For me, I'd say Sully gets a 4.5 out of 5. Now everybody, before you decide to see Snowden and Blair Witch, go check Sully out first. It's really well worth your time. Alright guys, that is my review of Sully. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or private message me on YouTube if you feel like it. My name is Luke Nukem, and you, my friend, have been blown away.